How Bizarre is intended for mature, open-minded audiences only. If you are easily offended, we suggest you turn this wacky shit straight off. I recently lost my debit card, and I did the whole day or two of looking for it everywhere, and I'm like, fuck, I'm just going to have to get a new one. Getting a new one is the easy part. Re-upping all your shit and re-signing up to all your shit is the pain in the ass. So, but I did it. I just like, I have no idea where this debit card is. So I got my new one, and I'm just like, I'll just wait until everything pops up, and then they always provide an easy link to re-up. Holy shit, within like, it was a good week or two before I started getting, there's been a problem with your account. And I'm like, yeah, here we go. And at first Netflix popped up, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to re-up my Netflix. I don't think I've watched anything on Netflix all month. And if I change my mind, it's right there. It doesn't cost me anything extra to come back. So I'm like, I'm going to hold off on that. And then Paramount came up, and I'm like, I think I'm going to chill on Paramount for a while. And then all these things started popping up. I didn't even know I was subscribed. I didn't even know I was paying for Hulu. Like this whole time I was paying like 30 some bucks a month for Hulu. Whoa, I've been logged in on somebody else's account because they gave me the sign in. And this whole time I was paying for it from my own account that I wasn't even using. There were also 4 or 5 little subscriptions, like little apps that I forgot that I was paying for. One of them was like a satellite tracker. I remember downloading that because I wanted to follow the Starlink thing when it was, everyone's seen this thing streaming across the night sky except me. I still haven't got it. I just want to experience it once. And this, it tracks it in real time and gives you alerts. There's free ones, but I didn't like the free ones. So I paid. It's like $2 a month. But that's $2 a month for something I have not used in a year and a half. So that goes away. And it's just like, holy shit. I highly, highly recommend you all get a new debit card and just sit back and see all the things that pop up. Because
holy shit, all of a sudden Ron's making his mortgage.
I feel so stupid because I have been quite broke. This is we're in gravy days right now. I had a good art show. I'm kicking ass with the comet. So I feel like I'm in the land of abundance and I mean bun dance. But, I've been in some struggles of late, and I'm like, you fucking moron. You've been paying, like, pay attention to your shit. Like you should look into your shit. But I'm not the kind of guy, I don't know of anyone that actually balances their checking account like people used to. You used to have to do that, at least to some degree. Otherwise, you'd have to just call and talk to a teller. Like, yeah, could you tell me how? I remember doing this. Like, yeah, could you tell me how much is an account 100? And would be like, 26 cents. Like, perfect. Okay, cool. I guess that 10,000 check is coming tomorrow. I'd be in line at Taco Bell reversing out. But, it's like we live in miraculous times where we can just kind of glance at that shit anytime we want. And yet somehow I know less about my own fucking money. Anyway, yeah, I highly recommend taking I don't care how, it doesn't have to be something. If you can afford it and you don't want to worry about it, fine. But it's kind of a principle thing too. Even if I could afford it, it's like, why would I pay for something I don't use? Which is almost all this shit, and I had forgotten about it. It's a very useful, it's a brilliant business move to do these very quiet, very secret, it's not very secret. I mean, you all agree to it, but the automatic renewal, that changed the world. And not necessarily for the better. Sometimes for the better, because you don't think about it. And sometimes not thinking about bills is great. But when you're paying, like, what is this one? Panty of the Month Club. Where are my panties? I haven't got no panties. Cancel. I have not renewed very many things. I renewed Peacock and
Peacock.
The Cock of P, and a couple other things. I did go back to Netflix because they put up a couple of shows I wanted to see. But
can I say that Peacock with the Scrambler?
Can you?
Peacock.
Oh, Scrambler. I thought you were talking about your pirated team. That was very unique.
before I have to go back into my kids in the main part of the house, I'm in the garage. And I wanted to tell a story that I wasn't quite comfortable telling in front of him.
Yeah, do it.
But it's a good one, I think. Had a fun weekend. Went out drinking a whole bunch. Just one of those weekends.
Mm-hmm.
I've been hanging out with some great people. Some people I've known for a while, but now we're all just kind of gluing together. But it was Saturday, and we have a festival going on down in Bremerton, like a Blackberry Festival, they call it. So lots of people are down there, lots of strange people. And I've been at the bar for 3 hours, and I'm doing work, like marketing work. You know, we're building graphics for things and having a good time. And I'm having a great time. I'm drunk. It's like 3 p.m. I walk into the bar after hanging out outside with some friends, and I see my buddy Kenny standing there. Kenny's like the ultimate dad. And I belly up next to Kenny, and I start chatting with him. And I feel this tap on my shoulder. And I look over to my left, and there's this tiny little blonde woman, probably in her late 20s, attractive. And I'm looking at her, and I'm like, hi. And she goes, and she's 100% the thickest Russian accent I've ever heard. And I probably won't be able to do it right, but she's like, hello. And I'm like, oh, hi. And she's like, you're very attractive. And I'm like, thank you. She's like, I like your shoulders. I like your hair. And I'm like, okay. I was like, thanks. And I'm like, she's got this big dude sitting with her. Now, his back is to us. And I'm like, and she's like, I think you come back with me and boyfriend for sex.
Oh, now you're talking.
And Kenny is just sitting there, like, loving a second of this. And she turns to him and she says, mind fuck business. And he goes, yes, ma'am, and walks away.
About her boyfriend's in that?
Wait, what?
No. He said that to my friend Kenny. That was like, that she interrupted our conversation. She looked at the mind fuck business, and Kenny was like, yes, ma'am.
Oh, mind fuck business. Not mind fuck business. Mind own fuck business. Wow.
I'm sitting there like, what do I do now? And I'm like, and now the boyfriend's turned around, and she's like trying to introduce me to this guy. And I'm looking at him, she's like, he's not violent. And the guy turns around, he's got the biggest, blackest eye I've ever seen in my life. Like, fuck, okay.
Well, maybe he's not. Maybe he just gets violented.
So she goes, what? She's like, what you think? Will he come home with us? And the good dude's like, I'm not into that. And I'm like, me either, dude. I just
So you guys high five, go home and have anal sex, and leave Olga standing there questioning, minding her own fuck business.
Mind fuck business.
Mind fuck business. Huh. Well, what the fuck is she doing if she doesn't have her partner on board already?
I don't fucking know.
Maybe that wasn't her partner. Maybe that was just someone else.
Maybe.
Who was minding own fuck business and was interrupted by horny McRush.
The next bar with the black guy.
Yeah.
Horny McRush.
She gave me this. Oh, now, was this the same festival wherein you took a video and sent us? Don't say what it is, because I'm just going to play it here.
No, I don't remember.
You were outside enjoying some live music.
That was I took my son to the Kitsap County Fair. Okay. And there was a great band playing.
Okay, well, let's give a little listen to what Chris felt so compelled. Looks like a cover band doing some classic tunes. I'm guessing most of you know where this is going. Let's give it a little listen. Just the endlessness of your proudness.
I literally,
is my favorite.
Abandoned in a crowd to go grab a quick video of that. I was like, oh, stay here.
Well, I lost the boy, but it was worth it. Get that fucking video.
No regrets.
Well, let me ask you this. It's funny how much like the idea of swinging and whatever has come up in my world of late. I have been trying to do a story on local swingers. I'm not looking to get into swinging. First of all, I don't know the exact rules, but I think in order to technically classify as swinging, that's like I'm with this person, like it's a partnership swinging with another partnership. Yeah, I know that there can be either unicorns or thirds that can jump in, but I think traditionally, from what I understand, swinging is couples swinging with other couples, and it's not like necessarily an open relationship. Oftentimes it's committed and monogamous, except when they're out with other swingers, and they're all present together. Well, I put a little call out in the Comment magazine, and I got a lot of people. I was out and about a lot this month. This has been a crazy fucking month, and I have been running into all sorts of people, and people that read the comment, and a lot of them just struck up conversations. Like, I saw your call out for swingers. Like, well, I wanted to tell you my story, and they would go into a little bit of it, and I'd be like, awesome, this is exactly what I'm looking for. Let's talk for a feature in the comments. Like, absolutely not. I'm like, no, well, look, we can use pseudonyms. We don't have to use your real name, and I certainly wouldn't publish any photos. They're like, no, our story is too specific, and our family will find out. And I found that fucking fascinating, and I don't know why, but I hadn't really thought about that. The aspect of shame or ostracization from family and friends concerning being a swinger and alternative lifestyles in general, I suppose. But it's interesting because it's happening all around us. But I don't know anything about this community. And so it's really strange how so many people just don't want to fucking talk about it. And that only makes me want to talk about it more. But my phone's blowing up. And so actually John Mark's sending us some stuff too. What's this, John Mark?
Still not on. Oh, yeah.
That's another shirt we need to make. Mind fuck business.
Yeah.
What is this horrific thing you sent just above that? It looks like a woman's eyes have been pecked out.
It's his dick. Listen, it's not very polite. It's
a horrific thing.
It's a thread I stumbled across on Twitter on my way home, actually. And it's like this gal who she's doing some experiments with AR or AI generated art, and she put in some prompts, and this very specific face of this woman was created from one of her original prompts. And then she started to I don't know what AI she's using, but it's not the one where you just put in words, but you can feed it different photos, and it'll like take cues from the photos that you give it. And she started feeding photos, the photos that were generated of this woman with other prompts, and it started to like generate like really, really disturbing, like horrible stuff, like really gory and violent and weird. And, but it was always recognizable as this one woman, and it started to creep her out. And I can't really explain it that well because I just was able to scan it briefly, but it seemed like something that would be worth looking into to do like an actual soup de jour on it.
Yeah. Well, look into it, and I'll look into it. But why are there so many troubling things coming from AI? Like, it's rarely just like cutesy, It's almost always
disturbing,
terrifying. Wasn't there one that you brought, Chris? It was like, I'll keep this in mind when I put you in my people zoo or something.
Yeah, it was so awful.
I'm going to start a people zoo. All right. Well, I guess we had that coming. And we've all talked about kicking robots and that whole thing. We got a lot coming when AI is real and like real and paired with the robots that are real. Yeah, we're immediately fucked.
That with VR, I think would be kind of like a wow. You know what I mean? Like if your VR experience was completely controlled by virtual, like a not a human being, but like a robotic kind of like that'd be different. That'd be very weird.
Oh, if you could virtually see a world that was being created in real time for you by an AI.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the setup for Stephen King's new book, I'm guessing.
I got a video to send you guys. This is a quick one. It's a must watch though. Fuck, this is gonna get some oohs and ahs. This is a video of a ooh, right guys? You're like
ooh,
ooh. Oh fuck. Okay. Okay. This is a video of a fox attack. A woman was hanging out in her yard. I think in New Hampshire or something. I have to look at the think, but this little wild fox comes up, little thing, and straight up attacks her. She gets 16 puncture wounds, but she fends it off. Now, Ron, I'd like you to narrate. My favorite thing about this is we get multiple camera angles thanks to the security system.
Okay.
And she's on the phone. She keeps her cell phone in one hand the entire time.
Doesn't try to protect himself.
Well, I think you're going to be impressed with the fight she puts up, sir. Here it comes.
Quack, quack, quack.
Rabid fox attacks mum in garden. Let's give a little play here. Rabid. Yeah, that's scary. Okay, let's see. Oh, I need the audio here.
Fuck you,
okay,
fox.
she's kicking it, and the fox says, "Holy shit!" And she's grabbing it and throwing it. This fox is nuts.
He's got something.
Just lunging at her, and she's kicking the shit out of it. Her kicks are landing too. This looks fake at this point. This looks like an SNL sketch where it's like the fake. Holy shit! She just kicked it.
Right?
Wow,
it goes on for a long time, doesn't it?
She kicked the fuck out of that thing in the head. That's the one that got it to finally run. Now she's like,
the husband's
she's like,
I mean, like I said, I think she had 16 puncture wounds.
Wow.
Yeah, that's going to be a rabies shot.
Mm-hmm.
That is not normal.
Oh, isn't that wild?
And
the fight she puts up is impressive. Yeah, watch it again.
Now, what would you do here? Yeah, a couple of kicks, and then like, oh, this fucker ain't afraid of getting kicked in the nugget. Yeah. I'm gonna run. Although she doesn't really have time. It's like glue on her. It's like burn.
You know, it'd be fun.
She throws it, burn, right back up on her.
You need to watch it.
It's when it jumps up on her chest. She's like flipping it around like some goddamn nunchucks, and then just pummels it. And then the husband's like, "Yeah, you come back and you get more of the cane." It's like, "Thanks, hon." It's like, I showed it a thing or two. Is he waving a cane at it? I think he is. Holy Christ. I would not.
Love the scene change right before she punts it, too. Like the dramatic change of cut so you get a good angle of the foot meeting the face.
Once it's on her chest and climbing her sweater, she's like grabbing it. That's when it looks like one of those cheesy like SNL animal attack things where it's just like a taxidermy thing that you're literally grabbing and pulling to your person and just rolling around. That's what it looks like. And then she's stretching its fucking legs out to try. That's when it looks like she's got a living pair of nunchucks upon her. Well, do we know? Is she okay other than the puncture wounds?
Yeah, she's fine. She's good. They're telling the story, making the rounds on the shows.
No rabies or anything?
Daily.
I mean, they say rabid, but...
Fingers crossed, though.
Because rabid literally means with rabies, but...
Yeah.
But we use that word sort of loosely, like... in anger. No question, this fox is in anger.
Well, I don't see any other reason why it would have attacked her like that, because she was not anywhere near it. It just came right up to her.
It's not normal. But who knows, man? Fucking nature. You got to imagine. Think about how many times we just like certain stressors, certain things we have to go through, certain tediums of life. It just all piles up and we don't have any kind of outlet or release for it. How we can explode in anger. Maybe animals just do the same thing. It's like, you know what? You didn't do anything to me, bitch. Wrong place, the wrong time, I guess. But let's go. I got some shit to let go of. He got it out of his system. Was like, fuck this. I messed with the wrong woman.
Keep your flesh.
It's not even that tasty.
Yeah.
You got to watch that really, really high.
Cell phone. She's kept that cell phone in her hand the entire time.
I want to see that footage.
I think she was on a call.
Oh.
Would have been fucking great if she
I'd like to report an animal attack. Hang on.
Hadouken!
On the other side, it's like, yeah.
Yeah, she's still there.
Still pranking me? I mean, still there, man. This is real. Hey, hang on. I kicked it in its spine. I'm stretching it across my person as we speak. Why do I get all the nuts? Well, Godspeed, woman. Hopefully this doesn't come back to bite you. No pun intended. But
well, I'd like to share that I took that damn boat out for the first time.
I saw that.
Did it?
was weak.
Stay afloat. Everything good?
It did.
It's in the ocean.
Well, see, I left from Hydro Park and I got about where Porter's Pond was. I don't know what that is, 3 miles maybe. And all of a sudden the motor goes, "Brah!" We're up. Like, oh no.
That's Christopher's coming noise.
Mhm.
The dying
I need
trolling
a little
motor.
echo on it.
Yeah.
though, Lyle.
Well, no. So I tried to fuck with the trolling motor, and I couldn't get it to go. And I'm like, okay, I guess I got to paddle at least. And I waited a little while, and the big motor started. So I said, okay, maybe it's probably a good idea to maybe go back downriver and go down by the dock. And I was just messing around with it, just kind of floating around, doing some stuff, did some trolling. I didn't catch any fish, but I caught a shit ton of kelp, which was weird.
It's just nice being
Columbia.
out on the water, though, ain't it?
Oh, it was awesome. I'm not complaining about that. When
Where'd
I went
you
in to
put
go
in?
in,
Where did you put in?
down at Hydro. It's
I think
right
that's the best
before-
place. It's usually a little
yeah.
less crowded.
So I was trying to get in, and as I was going in, there was some kids sitting there on the dock, towards the ramp, with his bike down there in the dock, and he's got his shoes off in the dock, and he's sitting there fucking kicking his feet, and I come, romping up like I'm gonna go in, because that's what it's the purpose of the docks for, is to fucking
Right.
pull your boat up, fucking tie it off, and not run over kid. And I was like, dude, you got to move. And I'm like looking at him, and he's just like kicking his feet, like deep. I'm like, all right. So I abort. So I go,
Dude, you gotta move.
I went port side. I fucking aborted it, and I went back, did a big gold circle, came back in, and this time I'm in, and I'm feeling good about it. And that fucker's still there. I'm like, dude, you really got to move. I can't control this thing. This is like 17 feet of gonna kill you. Move.
Of rabid fox.
And he didn't move. And so what I did is I jumped from the console and I grabbed the rope that was there to tie off, and I lassoed the first little niche you could tie off to. I was like, oh sweet, I got it. And I jumped out of my boat, and then I went around the big post of the dock, and then I cinched the front end. So she's cinched. She's good. No problem.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped,
Just
what, 8 feet in front of this kid. And I'm like just shaking my head. And I grab my pack, and I grab my phone and anything that's valuable that's right there. And I go into the parking lot to get my truck to back down. So I'm backing the truck down with the trailer, empty trailer. And the kid's still there. And he's sitting there trying to maneuver me, like moving his hand. Come on back. And I'm yelling out, dude, you need to move. I'm going to run you over with the trailer. And he just no. I finally got to where I was literally like 5 feet from hitting him with the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And I stopped and I said, you need to move.
I think at this point it's fair. Hit him.
Yeah. You need to get the fuck out of here. I'm going to run you over. I don't care anymore. And so he kind of picked up his shit real slow and moved it aside. And so I pulled the trailer down and I got it down there. And I was just so kind of pissed off that I jumped in from the dock into the water, and I just wrenched my hip.
Ooh.
Something. It still hurts. I can't walk on it very well.
Sucks.
I like how all those old fuckers are like, oh no.
Oh.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you jumped?
Not as
Well,
Oh,
because
no.
I didn't feel it at the time.
In front
right?
of a youngster?
It's only like 4 feet, right? You figure 4 feet or so.
Well,
5 feet.
4 feet was different when we were 19, Lyle.
Right. Oh, here's the deal. I had to rope that the boat onto the trailer. So I had to grab the rope and then pull it.
I wish this was
Really,
captured like the Fox attack.
Well, I'm literally pulling the boat with my 2 hands. I'm like hand over hand pulling the boat onto the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And until I get it hooked up and I could use the ratchety fucking deal, whatever. But yeah, I just wanted to say that fucking my hip is fucked. It's been like a few days.
How old was this kid?
Oh, I don't know. I would say maybe 16, maybe 18, maybe 22. I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's hard to tell, isn't it? Like anything under 30, it's just like, yeah, they're probably 12.
Well, it's just one of those things. I mean, it's a whole park. It spans for fucking 18 miles. You know, you could go put your feet in anywhere you want.
Well, you make a good point, but that is where we spent all our time. You know, I mean,
Well,
I
we
remember
did
spending my whole
bullshit.
life on docks. And,
No,
we probably annoyed everybody that was trying to load a boat too. But yeah, when
Yep.
someone told me
Bullshit.
to move, I might have said something smart back to them, but I'd probably move. I didn't want to get hit by a boat.
Oh, even back when we were kids, I would have moved.
God, I was a smart
just common
ass.
sense.
I was a punk
Get out.
back then.
We used to have fun. We used to let it set up little jumps and fucking take our bikes off the end of the dock with jumps.
Why is that so fun to ride a bike into water?
This is awesome. It's fucking
Boosh. Yeah, it's
For
a
us,
very
it was-
interesting sensation.
an outlet. You know, it was a little like
That's
you know,
right.
bucket.
If that fox had been jumping off of docks,
Mhm.
maybe it wouldn't have gotten kicked in the nugget. I guarantee you it lost the piano lessons in that brutal attack. That thing got kicked in the head, at least 3 like square kicks in the head.
Damn right.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I had a pile of stories, but looking at the clock, Chris, what time? We do have a guest for News Quiz. What time did you tell them?
I said, sometime between 7:15 and 7:30. I believe they
Okay.
are getting out of work at 7:15 and
Okay.
jump on. And
You're pretty low, Chris.
yeah,
I don't know
I feel a
about-
little low, Lyle. It's fine. I'm gonna get this, but
It's been a weekend. Yeah, you are a little low.
let me see if I'm getting. Oh, I did update Skype as part of
Oh, there you go.
every fucking time.
Yeah, it might be set to auto, the mic input. Anyway, well, that works. Let me get to one of these stories at least, because I got a big one, but not a big one like soup to shower long, but big-ish. But I got a biggish one. I do have a biggish one. I have a biggish one, ladies. I have big-ish dick energy. Is anyone interested in that? Let me skip these others. They're evergreen. But did you guys see the story of, it was a Catholic Charities organization in Omaha that held a fake mass shooting as a drill?
What? No.
I don't know about this.
This is insane. Well, listen to I'm just going to read it. I was going to try to sum it up, but this is fucking nuts. So a man hired last spring to carry out what appeared to be an active shooting in Omaha, Nebraska, complete with actors smeared in fake blood, has been criminally charged. Now, I believe the manager that hired this guy should be criminally charged myself, but listen to this. A man hired to carry out what appeared to be an active shooting. He's been charged with terrorism counts. Very interesting. John Channels of Omaha was arrested and charged Tuesday with 5 counts of making terroristic threats and 1 weapons count. The incident happened May 19th. This is off CNN. The incident happened May 19th when Channels, 27, showed up at Omaha Catholic Charities firing blanks from a semi-automatic handgun and staging victims who appeared to have been wounded or killed. Police said the charity hired him to test its workers' preparedness for such an attack. So it's not even really fair to call this a drill. A drill is, let's practice what you do in this situation. This is a sick fucking test. I can't believe someone didn't think this through. But anyway, a little bit more here. The incident caused panic among the charity's employees because they had not been informed that this was a drill.
That's not okay.
Police
So
said
you've got some guy firing blanks off.
Police said, yeah, and we know now that blanks aren't always blanks. There is something that can still hurt and kill you. Police said the charity paid Channels $2,500 to carry out the mock shooting and went along with his request not to inform employees beforehand. One employee told the Nebraska World Herald that in her panic at hearing the gunfire, she fled the building and leapt from a retaining wall, intending to land and hide in a dumpster several feet below. These people are going to have PTSD. You can tell them that this was fake. You can show them this. That doesn't undo those moments of actual terror. These people lived through an actual shooting, even if they didn't. First of all, that's one of many problems with this. But she missed and landed on the ground where she curled up in pain before ran several blocks to a restaurant to call for help. So think about all the things that could go wrong here. Oh, by the way, they not only didn't inform the lower management or any of the employees of this company or any of the surrounding businesses, they didn't inform the police. So people were calling 911. This dude could have gotten his brains blown off by cops legitimately, and or some, you always hear the good guy with guns. There are plenty of people out there with legal concealed weapons permits. Somebody could have seen there's an active shooter. I'm going to grab my fucking gun out of my ankle holster and shoot this motherfucker. Someone could have had a heart attack. This woman got hurt, clearly jumping out the window. I guess as part of the, oops, we're sorry, this company is paying for therapy for these poor motherfuckers that experienced an active fucking shooting. Again, you can tell people after the fact that it's fake. That doesn't undo the trauma that they went through. And I just can't fucking believe that this just happened.
Yeah, I jumped down like 4 feet, dude. I can imagine.
Imagine diving off of a fucking concrete structure into a dumpster and running down the street to this poor fucking people. These poor fucking people. Yeah, there's so many lawsuits happening. Now, I don't know if this guy's going away. You don't get charged with these kinds of charges in not due time. But I think the manager, the dumb fuck that made the call to go along with this, should do time. I really do. I think this is a huge, huge crime. And this is going to fuck up some of these people for a long time. And it could have caused... I'm hesitant to even go down the road of the what ifs, because there's enough what actually happens to just focus on, like I said, the PTSD aspect of this. They looked out the window and they saw dead bodies covered in blood and an active shooter. Now put yourself in that position. And you don't know that it's a staged thing. Of course you're going to think it's real. This shit happens everywhere now. It just happens constantly. Of course you're going to think this is real. And imagine all of the stress that would go along with that. Yeah, it's kind of a miracle, actually, that this didn't go way worse. As bad as it was. Like, no one had a heart attack. No one got seriously injured jumping out of a fucking window. Nobody shot the guy. The police didn't show up and shoot the guy.
My ass would be getting a lawyer. I'd be fucking suing these people.
Oh, yeah. Get a lawyer. Yeah, Chris, you're still a little too far in the nether.
I'll talk louder.
There you go. That's better.
Okay, cool.
I'll try to normalize it best I can in post. But anyway, I had to share that because that's just so fucking mind-blowing. And yeah, I believe that these people absolutely deserve a class action lawsuit settlement, one that will hopefully allow them to retire. And at the very least, they should all be awarded the ability to work from home for life. What a fucking colossal bad decision. But anywho, so a friend of mine on Facebook today posted that he was doing some photo shoots in an area known as Old Wellington, just off Highway 2 between Leavenworth and Seattle. Do you guys know the story of Wellington, Washington?
I'm not sure.
No.
I knew some of the broad strokes, but holy shit, when he posted that, I was like, oh yeah, what is with that place? I thought it was like a ghost town, and it sort of is, and it sort of isn't. It's actually way fucking crazier than I ever remembered. So I looked it up, and I thought it would be great to bring to the show tonight. It's sad and spooky, and I think, moving into spooky season, it's time for these stories. I actually bought some pumpkin ale today that I'm sipping on. That's how close we are. But it's a very famous tale, but I rarely hear people talking about it, and it's just right over the fucking hill from us. All of us. I know that a lot of folks listening won't be aware of it, even if they are local. So the town of Wellington, which, spoilers, is no longer a town, was built in 1893. It was never really a full town, but back in the early 1900s, it just kind of existed as a train depot between Leavenworth and Seattle. A couple other stops along the way, the train routes back then, but around 100 folks lived there, mostly rail workers. And There was a little hotel, like a very small hotel, that also doubled as a post office and a general store. It was tiny. There was really nothing else there except homes. And a few years before the happening, which we will get to, there was a major wildfire that had gone through the area, and all of the trees essentially were burned down. This is key, and we will come back to that in a bit. But moving ahead to February of 1910, the area got hit with a really massive snowstorm. And this place is no stranger to snow. It averages 35 feet of snowfall every year. 35 feet. But this blizzard was off the fucking charts. And one day, like the third or fourth day, it actually snowed 11 feet in one day.
Oh my God.
Think about the
cool.
Think about the chaos that 11 inches snowing rapidly can cause. 11 feet. So now they did have snow plows back then. Obviously not like what we think of, but they had these rotary plows, which were put on the front of trains or steam engines, and they are basically giant fan blades that essentially chop and spread the snow more than they do plow it. They're actually still used in some areas for railroad clearing. You can look up photos of these. It looks kind of like the big fans on the back of the pontoon boats, that you'd see skimming around in the Everglades, but more gnarly. Like, that these fans would do some shit. But even those couldn't keep up with this kind of snowfall, and the town basically was literally snowed in. They sent telegraphs to Seattle and Leavenworth and basically all the little remote villages that were nearby that could be reached, asking for help, asking for more manpower, asking for more plows. And many of them tried. Leavenworth tried to get a whole bunch of people up there, but they couldn't even get really going up Highway 2 because there were avalanches happening, blocking it off. So at this point, there were two trains, a mail train and a passenger train, traveling from Spokane to Seattle. And I think one was going from Seattle to Spokane, but they were stuck at Wellington. And, it had already been a long trip through poor weather already. And these these poor bastards stuck on the fucking train were getting pretty restless. And it was miserable conditions because after a few days of being cut off from the supply chains, Wellington was running out of their coal supply. And that not only powered the train, but that ran, they would pipe in some of that heat throughout the cabins. That's what warmed the train. So heat at this point was a luxury. So they shut that shit off. They had to reserve every ounce of coal just to get the fucking train going. They realized that they were pretty stuck. I almost spilled beer all over my equip. We grab a Comet and dab that up. So to keep warm,
grab a Comet.
It really sops up the beer. It leaves a little ink. But so they were all trying to stay warm by huddling.
I can tell you what it sops up in my house.
The jizz rag, the devil's jizz rag. They were trying to stay warm by huddling up, putting on more clothes, putting on blankets, having no idea how long they were going to be trapped there. Now, they could get out and stretch their legs when they were in the Cascade Mountains tunnel, which is a 2.5 mile tunnel, I think, but they couldn't really stay in that tunnel. They sort of chewed back into it for a while so people get out and stretch, because once they were really out in the clear, they were not only in avalanche danger, but the snow was so deep that you couldn't really get out without falling. And it was about 30 feet deep at this point. So they finally but they couldn't stay in the tunnel for long because the carbon monoxide from the coal, and even just the people breathing, there's about 100 people on the train. They couldn't stay in the tunnel. So they fought their way through the snow to get to a little spot between the tunnel and the depot. This whole time, of course, the railroad workers and really anybody in the town that could help, they were all scrambling to clear the tracks, to plow paths through town just to be able to get around and to work and to function. But the relentless snow kept fucking falling. It just would not stop. Until March 1st, when the temperatures started to warm and the snow started to turn to rain. But this was not good news. More on that in a bit. So over the telegraph, the people of Wellington found out that they had barely gotten into that tunnel in time to avoid a major avalanche that went all the way back to a village they had stopped at the day before they went through the tunnel to eat at, a little beanery called, I can't remember what it was called, but they ate, stopped, stretched their legs, got back on the train, just a quick little stop for a bite. That beanery was completely destroyed, and the people that were inside it were killed from that avalanche. They barely escaped that. So, of course, this added anxiety to some already pretty frustrated passengers, and they started arguing and fighting, and kids were crying. You know, there were families. This was a passenger train, and everyone was getting pretty fed up. But again, no one was like kicking back on their laurels. It wasn't like, you know, the mayor of Wellington was just smoking a big cigar at home in front of the fireplace. Everyone was scrambling to do everything they fucking could to get this train moving and to get the town unstuck. But there was nothing doing. And they were working around the clocks. Like, they had no relief for the plowmen. So the plowmen were basically working 24/7 for several days. And the captains of the trains were basically doubling as therapists. Everyone's just trying to keep everybody calm and, you know, providing them with hope. Like, you know, we just need a sunbreak and one person to come from the other side with the plow to help us out. But it seemed like progress was being made, and then another avalanche falling just outside of Wellington hindered all of that progress. And it also hindered the hope of another plow coming down the track. So many passengers at this point were contemplating strapping on some snowshoes and just walking out on their own.
Just doing it, huh?
Yeah.
Like, fuck it, we'll do it ourselves.
That's how
I was
sick
kinda
of it they
hoping that-
were.
Well, I was kind of hoping this would be the story of the inventor of the moon boot.
Oh, they would have killed for some moon boots. Although snowshoes, you got to remember, you're not just getting out and walking in snow. You are walking in 30 feet deep snow. And so people were getting out and trying, but that immediately turned into like
gone?
rescues. Yes. You'd get like 4 or 5 steps, and then you'd hit like a little loose spot in the snow, and you could fall 30 feet. So, but a couple of people actually decided to go out on their own. And, you know, they knew that there was a hotel down the road in a town called Scenic Hot Springs, which must have sounded like paradise to people trapped in snow. You remember there was a little hotel in Wellington, but it was long since booked up. It was a tiny hotel. So there was no room at the inn. And so a land called the Hot Springs, yeah, very, very enticing. But again, snow 30 feet deep. But they quickly found that this was a bad idea for most, but there was a handful of young men, they were about 18 or so, that decided to make their way out and give it a shot. They also found that the tracks seemed to be clear once they made it past a certain point, but they did eventually make their way down to Hot Springs. And there was room in the inn, they got food, they got warmth, and they were also told that, yeah, from what we know, what we're hearing on the telegraph, it's clear from here all the way to Seattle. So another train could have been en route to pick everybody up and basically rescue them. But back at Wellington, everyone was just kind of still holding up, and there was a couple of people the next day that were like, well, those guys didn't come back. They probably made it down to, Hot Springs. It's not all that far away. So they decided to go out too. And once they got there and like, oh, this really wasn't that bad. It took about 2 hours or so for them to, and it was a trek, it was a snowshoeing trek, but it took them 2 hours. And then they were in an area that was much safer, and there were more lodging and accommodations. And again, most importantly, an open railway on that other side of the snow inn. So one of those people that hiked out that second time sent a telegraph back to Wellington saying it's safe now for passengers to come down over the trail that they had cleared on their way. Anyone that could possibly do it. There were a lot of elderly, there were some injured and sick people on the train. Obviously, you wouldn't want to take your 2-year-old with you, but for the most part, they could have cleared off a lot of that train and gotten people out of there, freed up a little bit of space for the people that had to stay behind. Unfortunately, just as he was sending that telegram, another big snowslide took place just outside of Hot Springs, and it cut off the wires. So those people never heard that better conditions and that new train was just an hour and a half walk away. So they stayed in their trains. But more people agreed even that further next day that Hot Springs was the ticket. And again, those that could manage to do that, we're getting the fuck out of here. Now, once they decided that, they were kind of celebratory about it. They're like, we definitely feel like all those people aren't dead. They didn't die. They didn't get stuck. They're probably down celebrating in the hotel. Like, we should go join them. And they made the plan to do that the next day. So they spent that night, February 28th. Maybe this is March 1st. Get that confused. Doesn't really matter, I suppose. They spent the last night. How about that? Kind of in a celebratory mood. They were partying up a little bit and feeling better. It's like, tomorrow we get out of here, and then maybe we'll be up here for a couple more days waiting for the new train, but we'll be in hot food, hot meal territory, warm beds. We'll be inside. It'll be a better thing. So the mood has improved, but again,
hot girls in like one-piece bikinis.
Hot girls, all these little towns always had some sort of brothel going on.
That's what I'm imagining, that they're looking at these flyers.
Of course you are.
That's hot spring flyers.
Flyers.
These girls with one-piece, bathing suits.
I found this flyer at the Best Western back in Leavenworth. I think there's going to be hot chicks at Hot Springs.
That's why those young kids win. They're like, oh yeah, there's puss. Let's go. Hot Springs and
hope
puss.
Isn't the only thing spring and eternal in Hot Springs. No. Anywho, so the temperatures were warming up considerably at this point, and the snowstorm began shifting into a rainstorm, which also brought lightning. And after the partying died down and everyone had gone to sleep on the train, lightning struck. This was like late at night. Lightning struck a massive chunk of snow up on Windy Ridge that was above Wellington, and this caused a massive avalanche. And as mentioned, there were very few trees on this slope due to the wildfire that ravaged the whole land a few years earlier. So it was a perfect storm of destruction. And the whole way down that hill, the avalanche only gained force and momentum. It eventually slammed into the train. And within seconds, that train had been picked up and carried over 150 feet down the ravine, twisting and screeching and, breaking metal just all along the way. Bodies went flying everywhere. Some of them flew out one window only to be crushed by the car that was twisting and falling onto them, coming behind them all the way down the ravine. But when it all settled, 96 people were dead. Oof. And remember, there were only 100 people that lived in this fucking town. Now, most of these people were not people that lived at Wellington. But as the storm settled, workers and family members tried to dig everybody out and, looking for survivors. But they had to give up pretty soon because it was still a storm and there was still like 30 feet of snow, not to mention the mountain of snow and ice and rock and trees that the avalanche brought down from the mountain. There was just nothing doing. They were out there digging with like shovels, which in their bare hands. It was pretty fucking hopeless. And they got quite a few people pulled out, both living and dead. And the hotel became sort of a makeshift hospital. And they just kept trying to search a little bit day by day as the storm continued to relent. The temperatures warmed and everything melted. But they would not find the last of the dead bodies until July. Remember, This is March 1st. That's how long it took to even know the death toll and get all the bodies accounted for. Mangled bodies, decapitations, entire families crushed, workers impaled by their own equipment. It was about as horrific and gruesome as it gets. 8 children died, and all of the bodies of the dead were bagged in burlap mail sacks and just stacked like wood in the depot building until they could do something with it, because they were still snowed in at this point. And it all happened in a matter of seconds. Only 22 people in the entire area of Wellington survived that avalanche. And to this day, it's still the deadliest avalanche in U.S. history.
Nuts.
So you can access this very spot using the Iron Goat Trail, which is a very popular and very common. It's a very busy little hiking trail,
And he's
and
like 2 miles with that. And it's pretty flat. It's not.
yeah, it seems to be a pretty easy place to get to. And you can walk into the old Cascade Tunnel where they were hiding out for a little bit. You know, you can walk in as far. I don't know how far it goes. I don't think it's terribly far because there was a massive cave in. I actually don't, just looking from the photos of this, I don't recommend walking into this tunnel because it looks like the whole thing's about to cave in when you look up. You know, I saw some footage and some videos, and I encourage you guys to look some stuff up too. Lots of people have checked out there to get footage of this. So after this tragedy, they changed the name from Wellington to Ty, which was a hope to distance themselves from the, you know, there's a bad connotation with the name Wellington, of course, but they also built this massive concrete structure called a snow shed, which would in theory help prevent such a horrific event in the future. But basically a few years after they made the new Cascade Tunnel, which is the one they're still using today for the train, Ty, formerly known as Wellington, was completely abandoned. And just a few years after that, another wildfire swept through it and just destroyed everything that was left. So leveled the entire town, except for the tunnel, that concrete snow shed, and the tons of wreckage and train parts that you could still find in the lower areas of the ravine. All sorts of wreckage. You got to really go hiking down, you know, like when you're walking along the trail, they actually made this like a historically preserved place, and they popped up a couple little signs of where this is where the hotel was, or this is where I haven't been there, but I don't know exactly, but that sort of thing. Like this is the exact spot that the train sat. And then down there, you can see the jagged, rusty remains of where it landed, the train landed. So it's, I mean, that's basically it. Yeah, crazy story. That's just a stone's toss away from here. And it's like what that one telegraph, had that one telegraph gone out, a lot of people still would have died, but not nearly as many because I think they would have headed out the day before knowing that, some sort of relief is only 2 hours away or less. It's just like this weird Twilight Zone scenario, but that probably would have at least cut that death toll in half. But yeah, 96.
Yeah, I've been wanting to get out there for years for photography reasons, but also for drone footage.
Got to get a drone up in there.
Because that snow shed is actually really pretty impressive.
It's really photographic. It's kind of like, it's hard to describe. It looks like a tunnel. The train wasn't supposed to go through it. It was just supposed to catch the snow. We have this. These are all modern things we have now, but we had to learn the hard way before we came up with these engineering feats. But it's built in an interesting way. It just looks like this big skeletal tunnel.
Yeah, kind of like a rib cage a little bit. You know, it just kind of does its own thing.
Yeah. In fact, I'll send you guys a picture of it real quick.
I thought it'd be cool to have footage of that for, like, just say a short movie or something.
Yeah.
Just throw it in there.
Oh, yeah. Well, as soon as you guys see this, you'll see what we're talking about here. Okay, it's coming over text. That is the biggest structure that remains. And again, not that far from there is the tunnel. And then I think there might be some foundation things here and there, but you can actually walk on top of that too, and it's covered in this very fine green moss. But yeah, too little, too late, that structure. That's why it's so haunting. It's like if they'd just done that before, these people would still be alive. I guess not. 110 years later, but yeah. Fucking horrifying, man. In seconds, you're gone from sleeping to you're just scissored in half by rusty fucking metal out in the cold winter. Crazy fucking story. And as I think a lot of you listening that are learning about this for the first time, you're like, why haven't I fucking heard about this? Especially anyone that's local, because it's hour and a half away from me. about as long as it would take you to walk to safety back in the snow day. But I don't know. I might have been afraid to go out and walk. I might have enjoyed the safety and relatively warm enclosure of the train, not realizing that an entire mountain was about to fall on me. And yeah, Jesus Christ, man.
Well, I guess
horrific.
the moral of the story is if you see hot chicks in one piece bikinis in hot springs, you should always go for the hot springs.
Walk toward it. Walk toward it, my friend. Those people survived. What a weird feeling, too. And how frustrating for that dude that I think he was like, there wasn't like a mayor. I think the guy that wanted to telegraph back after he had successfully walked there in like an hour and a half, he was something like a mayor, but he just couldn't get through. And how frustrating, what a weird thought to know that your phone call didn't quite reach at least 50 people. You got to imagine 50 people would have gotten out of there and escaped with their lives.
You would think hot springs would say it all, because there's no heat, obviously they're running everything on coal, trying to conserve it, and you'd be freezing your ass off. And I think I could run that fast.
Well, I'm curious what scenic hot springs looks like now.
I'd be curious to find out too, if it's still active too.
Do a quick little Google here, scenic. Because there might be some interesting things there tied to the history of this scenic hot springs. And there's a lot more to this, believe it or not, there is a lot more to this story. Scenic hot springs is nudity friendly. Lyle might be closer than
all right.
Nudity friendly, as is typical of wilderness situated rustic hot springs. You may wear as much or as little clothing for your comfort as needed. How to get to scenic hot springs, the Cascade Mountains. So it looks like scenic hot springs is not only there, but it has grown into something for nude happy yuppies.
Yeah, we went all
cozy little spot. Probably some resorts over there. Very interesting. Yeah, Washington State, man. We just have the fucking stories. We got the legends. I mean, this is where Charles Manson and the family came to vacation. This is where we had the serial killer capital for a while anyway, the Green River Killer. Bundy was here for a while. The term UFO was coined here. We got Sasquatch. We got DB goddamn Cooper. We got fucking Starvation Heights.
Bob
We got this shit.
We need to get him one more time because he's actually approaching
death.
Yes, Chris is right. Yeah.
But going like close to the triple digits. I was talking to Paul and he said that
he was like 80. So I saw Paul a couple nights ago for the first time in years. I went to that Pink Floyd cover band.
Oh, good.
Just fucking fantastic. God, it was so good. But yeah, ran into him and Becky. It was good to see him. All right. Well, that's all I got. And I think that puts us right about perfect. Should we take a quick recess?
Quick
All right.
recess, and we'll get our guest on here.
All right.
Recess. Let's take a recess, guys.
Recess. No.
Well, I had a buddy of mine actually just try to buy my one wheel, my murder wheel. And I'm like, you know what? Actually, I probably should have sold it to him. I still have the feeling that someday I'll get on it, but it's just like, I kill myself on it.
Yeah. No, I feel that, man. I got on my skateboard a couple times, and it's just like I'm scared to try anything except roll around,
Right.
I feel like the one wheel, yes, dangerous, but I feel like it's safer than skating, from what I've seen. I haven't been on one, but
it's fun.
It seems like they're way more stable. And they're pneumatic tires, right? Or are they just rubber?
They're rubber tires. They're just tires from a go-kart.
Think about how many times we ate
gyros.
shit on a skateboard just because our urethane, or what was it later on? I don't know what the skateboard wheels are made of, but you hit like the tiniest fucking pebble, and suddenly you were there was no God that could help you. You were just on your own.
I love
and
it.
Waited to fall.
I love it when they put the camera on. Yes. Sorry to interrupt your run, but I couldn't help but celebrate. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. James Shepard, longtime listener, longtime
James
friend.
Shepard.
Hey,
Welcome.
Hello.
how's it going?
Good. Yeah, we are enjoying your face, even though
Fuck
you're not
it. I'm
enjoying
going
our
live too.
faces.
I'm going live too. Ah!
I can't because it's illegal.
Okay, great.
Okay,
Didn't
yeah.
have a
Too many
didn't have an
candles
option
in
to
the
turn that
background.
off. All right.
Yeah. Now we're living this together.
I like
Okay,
this.
great.
This does seem like the present, not the future, because people have been doing video things for a long time, but we really got in on that game.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
All
James
right,
has
guys,
been a part of the podcast family for, God, I don't know if going all the way back to day one, but it's got to be pretty damn close.
I think the first episode that I heard was like Mel's Hole or something like that. So like
that's
a
fun.
bit.
Pretty fucking early. Now John Mark has popped on. Mm-hmm.
Fuck yeah! Don't be a pussy, Ron.
I ain't gonna do it. I can't. I don't know where my cables are to my shit.
His dick is 100% out right now. I
He's
guarantee
gonna
it.
hold up random things into the camera now.
Yes.
Here we go.
Let me see
love
if
it.
I can do this.
Oh yeah, look at this. Hold on,
Am I
let's
there?
take a photo of this. Yeah, I see
Okay.
your,
All right.
I see your bald ass head, baby, right there.
Mhm. I like that you can only see the top of John Mark, so it's like almost like a planet with eyeballs.
I can't see myself, so I can't adjust the.
I can't see myself either. I didn't even know that you guys could see me.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
All right. Well, gosh, I'd love to do some strange trivia, but something has to happen first. I know it's something every time we do this one thing. What is it?
Yeah,
What
I
is it
think
we-
what the thing is, we all sing it together now. I rather because I keep fucking forgetting. But I rather enjoyed it. So
Oh,
let's do it.
monster.
You ready?
We're ready.
It's
Start us
Weird Trivia with Christopher. A man who smokes cigars, coughs, and squares shit in nature. And don't get me started on the goddamn brown head ring. It's Weird Trivia. News that might get Christopher fired. Speaking of singing, James, I know you are a Bloody Oranges fan.
Yeah.
I am playing on Friday if you feel like driving over. It's not a full show, though, so I'm just opening for someone. But could be
Yeah, I saw your post about getting the old guitar out. I think that's pretty awesome.
It hurts.
If I didn't have to go to a work event the next day, I would.
Well,
Not that far of a drive.
like I
Only
said,
like 3 hours.
I'm just opening. I might be playing 40 or 45 minutes, but yeah, it's different now, man. I pick up the guitar once every 3 or 4 months, maybe. You got to keep up on that shit. If you want to keep up on it, you got to keep up on it. I got like cramps and my calluses are building up just fine, but everything else hurts. But I'll be ready. I'll be ready for Friday for an opening slot anyway. I do like the low pressure aspect of being the opening act. Before we do this, I need to grab a ale. I'll be right back.
Ron can rarely turn down an opening slot.
No.
Okay, we're gonna do a standard order tonight, and James will take up the rear. Hey yo. Okay. Question 1. Our first trivia question is about the beloved candy Reese's motherfucking Pieces. One of these facts about Reese's Pieces is true. The rest I made the fuck up. I
Uh-oh.
guess that does make them facts. All right. Is it A?
Elon.
Is it A? Reese's Pieces don't actually contain any chocolate.
Oh, interesting.
Is it B?
Seems like
Their creation was entirely on accident.
A lot of things are.
Was it C? The original recipe for Reese's Pieces called for lead.
Called for lead. Move your
Or is
ears.
it D?
I seen Call for Lead open up for Soundgarden back in '94.
A good show.
Nice.
Yeah, it was good.
Or was it D? They were nearly discontinued before E.T. made them popular.
Wow.
Yeah. Again, Reese's Pieces. One of these things is true. The others I made up. They're actually no chocolate in Reese's Pieces. Their creation was entirely on accident. The original recipe called for lead, or they were almost discontinued before E.T. made them popular. Stir.
Well, I don't think that there's any chocolate in Reese's Pieces.
I will put you down for
There
a
is
solid
there is a
A.
thin brown layer under that candy shell, but it's a candy shell. And there's no rule saying that Reese's has to be chocolate and peanut butter. And we know we have Reese's peanut butter. Hang on, though. I mean, created by accident. I have done so many snack history stories on this show. So many things were created by accident. Yeah. That's an easy one to go to as well. But I like the chocolate one. I don't think there's any chocolate in Reese's Pieces.
Okay.
Or Reese Piecey, as some godless souls say. Oh, it drives me fucking bananas when an adult says, my favorite candy is Reese Pieces.
This is not the first time you've had this rant, old man.
Well, come on, Reese Pieces. Like, how do you not know that it's Reese's Pieces? Okay.
John Marsh.
Reese Pieces.
I feel strongly that there's no chocolate in there because when I eat them, I don't fucking taste any goddamn chocolate. So
interesting. All right, I'm gonna put you down for A as well.
I was really a big, I guess, heavy D.
Don't we know?
Of E.T. It seems about logical, that came around right about that time, and I'm sure it was just like a giant surge in their productivity.
Sure.
That's a good guess, and if Chris made that up, that's a good answer.
I would say kudos. I'd say that's a great answer. But then I realized once I chomped in, it's more of a peanut butter treat, right?
Sure, it's got some peanut butter flavor to it. Yeah.
Well, what's to say it's not chocolate in there? Maybe it's a substitute.
There could be. We don't know.
I'm gonna make it a team game. I can go with A.
Put you down for A here too.
I thought you were a strong E.T.
The E.T. one. For some reason, I thought that it was Skittles that was in that movie, but I'm gonna go with that one, the E.T.
E.T. Taste Rainbow.
That was going on.
I don't know.
Mindfuck business. That was a huge campaign too. Like, the E.T. Reese's, the E.T. Reese Piecey. It works better when it all rhymes.
I think this is
E.T.'s Reese's Pieces.
This is like a kid that had a stutter and starts slipping back into it when they have a fucking head injury. It's what's happening right now. You've conquered it.
Where I'm headed.
You can do it again. Okay. All right. Family game, except for James said that's all right. We'll see it.
I still wonder about how many of these classic 80s movies are classics because that's just what they gave us. Like, are they really as good as we remember? Are they really classic worthy, or were they just the first to do this kind of shit, The 80s was the wild frontier.
Yes
in a lot
and
of ways.
no.
Well, I want to say yes and no, because a lot of those movies, they were shown to us for the first time. You look at the movies now, even just things on Netflix or, a rundown, done 12 different times, movies that we've already seen,
Yeah, we've seen it all at this point.
All right, you guys ready for question 2?
Sure.
Oh, that was only one.
Yeah.
We really rambled. Yeah, let's do it.
Fucking sharks. Let's talk about them.
Sharks.
How do they work?
How do those work?
I'll tell you some things that work about sharks, and one of them ain't working about sharks. I made 3 of these up, and one of these statements about sharks is true. Is it A? Sharks technically have 4 separate brain compartments.
4.
Sharks.
Okay.
Ding.
Do we technically have 2?
I'm not a fucking doctor.
Riding less cerebellum.
Noted.
Well, there's 2 sides.
You sure seem to have a diagnosis for the photo I sent you last night. Yeah, you didn't want to get a shot.
Isn't that weird?
I had a medical opinion of that one. B. Sharks can swim just as fast backwards as they can forwards. There's a distinct disadvantage to having my camera on.
You got to step up your game, man.
Could you imagine though?
Hey, Billy, you're going a little slow backward.
Imagine
Sharks can swim as
something-
fast
What's the most
backwards.
terrifying thing you can imagine?
I feel-
Shark go backward.
I feel like if they could, that would really be well known. like, did you look at this fucking backward fin bullshit? Why, it's going just as fast as forward fin.
Is it C?
Give us some other options that we might choose.
Nobody Google shark swimming backwards, please. Is it C?
We'd be the
Sharks
first.
All right, is it C? Sharks can smell fish semen as clearly as they can smell blood, even 100 meters away.
I know they can smell fear.
I want to know why you covered up the camera. Why you said that?
I don't know. It must have been blackout.
Okay. Okay. Sharks can smell
Can you repeat
semen.
that question?
Oh, okay, how about this? How about D? Then there's D. Sharks, as a species, are older than the rings around Saturn.
Shocking.
Oh, we talked about this. Remember the big machine, the 30,000-mile long spaceships that made the rings of Saturn?
Again, real quick. What's
Sharks are
true?
as old as the rings of Saturn.
Older than, I believe I said. Sharks technically have 4 separate brain compartments. Sharks can swim just as fast backwards as they can forwards. Sharks can smell fish semen just as clearly as they can smell blood, even 100 meters away. Or sharks, as a species, are older than the rings around Saturn.
If you could say sharks that can smell like semen, like, fair
like
travel,
like captains.
people in the ocean.
They're looking for you, Lyle.
Yeah.
Arr.
I would believe that.
How
I
do
would
you
believe
smell
that a
me
lot
coming? No pun being
Arr.
intended.
more.
Hmm.
More potassium, I suppose.
Well, fuck. I am so tempted to go with sharks can swim backwards as fast. Maybe they just don't realize it. Maybe like they have like a little revert, like they don't utilize it. Like it's reverse for us in our cars. We don't drive in reverse, but we can reverse at the same speed, essentially, that we can drive. Boy, I think I might have talked myself into the stupidest possible suggestion here.
I've seen some of those fuckers backtrack, and they're pretty fast.
Older than the rings of Saturn? I would say prove it. Get back to me when you have proof. I'm gonna go with they can swim backwards as fast as they can swim forward, because you didn't say how far. They're not like
didn't say
they're not
what,
swimming to shore.
A sprint, not a marathon. You know. Mm-hmm.
By the way, my chickens flew to me. I've been letting them out to hang out with me in the evening before I feed them, because it's the only time they'll follow me for food. They greeted me the other day by running and flying down the hill to me. And I remember one of your trivia questions was how the farthest a chicken has ever flown. I think I guessed like 5 miles or some shit. I now realize how stupid that is after seeing their flying, which is basically falling with a little bit of lift. Yeah.
Were you disappointed? That wasn't fun.
No, it was magical to have my chickens flying to me. Like, coming to me. Come to me, my pets.
You're some kind of petition.
It was anything but majestic. Yeah, I'm going swimming backwards.
All right, I love it. Okay, John Mark.
Thinking about it, imagining like when would a shark swim backwards, and I was imagining, well, maybe in certain situations it'd take a bite out of something, and like I was thinking about like my dog, like he grabs on something, then he like pulls backwards real quick to try to like rip it out of your hands or whatever. Maybe sharks do the same thing when they're going to get a big chunk out of a whale, and they have to like
turbo jet it on.
Yeah, but I was trying to think if I can recall seeing footage of that, like like shark in
the
a
answer
cage
is nay.
going backwards, or have I seen that?
Only rewinding your TiVo recording of Shark
look,
Week.
there it goes.
There you go.
And I was talking to somebody about space shit today and thinking about that kind of stuff. So I'm going to go with older than the rings of Saturn.
Ooh,
Wow.
I love that fucking
The
response.
fuck could you ever prove that?
How can they
All
prove
right.
anything, Ron?
Science.
Historical articles of the,
Through historical articles of sharks and Saturn and whatnot.
Guys,
Saturn,
guys,
A series of articles.
do you realize that Saturn's rings are only
Oh, God, I'm already wrong.
Saturn,
Oh, no, I'm right. I went with
and
it.
it's been
No,
going
I didn't.
I say I get a point just because I saw it.
Okay.
Okay, so I've got John, Mark, Lyle.
One more time. One quick through.
The
Sharks
answers.
technically have 4 separate brain compartments. They can swim fast backwards. They can smell fish semen, or as a species, they're older than the rings of Saturn.
Older than the rings of Saturn. Must sound like, yeah. I'm gonna go.
A tale as old as the rings of Saturn. Backward swimming sharks.
Salty tales.
And sniffing semen.
Sniffing semen. Darlady.
Your mom's a backward shark swimming semen sniffer.
That's another shirt we need to make. Semen sniffer.
Semen
Yeah.
sniffer, but spelled seaman.
Yeah, exactly.
So sharks.
It's just a shark.
So sharks. Not sharks.
Oh my God. We have to make that picture of the
What's
shark
that
and
about?
semen sniffer.
What is that shirt about? It's a conversation
It's a
piece. Sorry,
Very
Lyle. I keep...
specific.
No, I was just thinking that's hilarious. If you did the shark like a shark, and the shark's wearing like underpants, but they've been soiled in the water.
A
That's
shark.
a shark.
Okay, I can get behind a
You
shark.
know where I'm going? Can we get this as the title for the episode, please?
Shark.
Just a shark that's sharting in pants, little underoos.
Yeah, I think we might.
I think that'd be awesome. Sharks, along with other amphibious creatures such as salmon and trout.
Wait, are sharks amphibious?
And is salmon a thing?
Salmon.
Salamandar?
They have very, very they smell. That's their highest century is their smell. So if you're gonna go, I'm gonna go with the white
semen
herring?
sniffer.
Is it the
It
white
is,
herring?
it is a white herring. That's fair.
I'm going with the white herring. I'm going with the semen sniffer.
Fair.
Yeah.
Good guess. Good fucking guess.
Well, because
Alright,
they can smell blood. Might as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And
it's,
cum.
And it's a cum answer.
It's
That's
bloody
the
cum?
thing. It's a cum answer, and Chris did this, so that's a good guess.
I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
You sure came up with that shark picture quick.
Yeah.
James, what are you feeling?
James.
I'm gonna go with older than the rings of Saturn.
Ooh, I like it.
Interesting.
Did you know they find big old megalodon teeth, which are like the biggest shark ever supposedly on the planet? Because they're extinct, but they're giant. They're almost like the size of half of the size of a football.
I think we looked
Like
it
a
up.
real
It's like
NFL
150
football?
feet long, the megalodon.
A football or a football field?
No, I mean like their
teeth.
tooth, like teeth, like you found.
Oh, the teeth. I was like, what?
It's like half the size of an NFL football. I mean, they're huge, and they found them up in Montana, all over the place. We got a buddy who went to school with that's actually a sheriff, I think in Montana, and he collects shit like that. But they're found in really weird spots. Is all I'm saying.
And I
Like-
know that Chris knows this in his heart. Somewhere deep in his hate the ocean heart, he knows that there is it Megalodon? Megalodon?
Megalodon.
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 That
Chapulo.
Megalodona is out there. There's one. There has to be one, like 200-footer.
At
Football
least.
size,
Just makes me
college
wanna-
football size tooth.
Just talking about it makes me want to immediately kill myself. Like just
Just
right
eating
now.
dolphins?
Yeah, me too, actually. And I don't have a fish aversion, but I have an aversion to things that are 200 feet long.
Dude, that'd be scary as fuck. I don't know. Yeah.
All right, question
Dude,
3,
if
guys.
you were in an airplane flying across the ocean and seen a megalodon, it would probably make you fucking shit your pants.
Just
Shoot.
talking about it,
Just-
Lyle.
Shoot.
This is
Just-
only question 3.
You're like, oh my god, is that a megalodon?
Are
They're
you
supposed
just
to be
happy
seen.
to see me?
Mhm.
Megalodon.
Aren't they around since Rings of Saturn?
There's one down there. I promise you there's one down there. Sorry, Chris. Go ahead.
Question
I would like to
3.
see giant squid. Megalodon.
Well, we know those are down there now.
Right. Biggins.
Just let me know when you're done, Lyle.
Chris,
Let
you
me know
gonna
when
get
you're
on
done,
with this, or
Lyle.
what's
You
the story? We're waiting. Wait a minute. Okay, I got to get a picture of this. I spy a potentially 40-year-old bottle of Brute
It is, yeah.
up on your fucking counter. Yeah, okay. You get the
My pride and
overall
joy
and then
there.
the zoom
Yeah.
in there. One of these days, some special occasion, we are going to pop that cork.
That's not my finger.
And I'm not going to. Ironic that it's Brute champagne that it's pointing to. Yeah, we're gonna pop that thing, and it's going to taste of
One of us will die.
eating
Botulism,
Satan's
something.
ass, and
I'll start chilling it now, you know?
it's been at the hottest. It's like above your stove. I think it was above my stove for a few years, actually.
Yeah.
All right, sorry.
All right, fine.
I love that
Christmas-
that's just sitting up there. That has got to be the only intact bottle
Might be worth some.
original Ronster House champagne.
You know what I figured? I figured I'd save it for your next big endeavor. Like if you decide to do another, proper radar station or something, you can smash it against your next,
That
opening.
would be appropriate.
Yeah.
If we're not drinking it. Otherwise, I would save it for my next big colossal failure, and then I'll just drink it.
Yeah, and then we're died. Then we're died.
Let
If
God
you,
sort it out.
If you end up buying a boat, you could christen it with it.
Oh shit!
The SS Ronster.
Yes, it's a
All
champagne.
right, guys. I got to get my kid in bed in
All right, let's do
15.
this.
Let's
wrap
do
it up.
this. Question 3. Terminator 2 actor Robert Patrick, who infamously played the T-1000 in the film, he recently did an interview where he talked about the blockbuster soundtrack. Now, Guns N' Roses was one of the main contributors to that soundtrack. A lot of songs on screen were used. One song, I think, was written for the soundtrack even.
Was that You
But-
Could Be Mine, I think?
Yeah, you could be.
Yeah. Well, Robert had another band in mind, and he lobbied hard to get them onto this film's soundtrack. What band did the T-1000 want to be murdering humans to? Was it 9 Inch Nails?
Well, that'd be a good fit. Well, wait.
You like a robot.
What year did
Wait a minute, man.
What year did Terminator 2 come out? This is going to be helpful.
I didn't say, and I'm not telling you.
That was 90s, right?
Definitely 90s.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
Was it B, Beck?
Oh.
So, Terminator.
Go
All the
running down
cyborg
the hall.
babies. I think you're going to kill me. Okay.
Was it
An odd fit.
C, Iron Maiden?
There you go.
That makes a lot of sense.
The Terminator runs down the hall.
That'd be badass. Iron Maiden is terribly underutilized in soundtracks.
It's so good. I was just recently listening to Iron Maiden again, and because I've been actually learning bass,
Mm-hmm.
Blows my mind. blows my mind because
Gonna
it's
be
just
seeing
like
them this month.
it's a section of them I've never really introduced myself to, and then trying to
my
play
God.
it and try to learn it. It's
Steve
just
is
like
the shit. I'm gonna grab a pipe real quick.
Steve's amazing.
Argento used Maiden in Phenomena. Flash of the, I think it's Flash of the Blade. It's Flash of the Blade.
Oh, Flash on the blade.
Okay,
Yeah.
Or, and look me in the eye, Ron.
I'm looking.
Was it D, Eddie Money?
You've got 2 seconds to live. I'm gonna turn it. Okay.
Again, the
Good
T-1000
about
lobbied
that one.
hard to get this band into the soundtrack instead of Guns N' Roses. Was it 9 Inch Nails, Beck, Iron Maiden, or Eddie motherfucking Money? Ronster,
I am.
you know what to do.
I'm torn.
You know where to go.
I know where not to go. I can't. I mean, Eddie Money. No, he couldn't be. He couldn't possibly be like this song. Has to be in our Killer Droid picture. If I could walk on water.
I mean, yeah.
9 Inch Nails really computes. Beck. I don't think Beck was on the radar at that point. Anybody's radar.
No,
Beck
it'd
might
be
have been
too
living
tight.
in Washington State at that point. What was the third one? What was C?
Iron Maiden.
Iron Maiden. I'm torn between Nine Inch Nails and Iron Maiden. I think Iron Maiden was a bit passé at that point by a lot of people's standards. I got to say, to some degree, even my own. I was on to other things for a while. I came back to you. I got to go Nine Inch Nails. I could totally see like Head Like a Hole, especially something like that. That would have been that. I mean, it would have had to have been something off of Pretty Hate Machine.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go Nine Inch
Sure.
Nails.
Okay. John, Mark.
Well, I think a Terminator being the ultimate killing machine that they are, especially one that didn't even have any real cyborg components, like no real flesh to it, right? It was completely
It wasn't a droid.
metallic and robotic. Would enjoy murdering people to the most vile shit that it could imagine. So that would be Eddie Money, but I'm going to go with Nine Inch Nails.
Take John Connor tonight.
Interesting.
Okay,
That
went
made my
nice
heart skip. It's like, did I miss another fucking Eddie Money question? Still may have. But it's like, oh, what does he know? Where do you guys? What are you guys RSSing? Find out all that shit about Eddie Money.
I'm kind of on the same page with you guys. Eddie Money, I'm sure it's a meme. We got it. It's funny. But talking about the Terminator here, the second part of that question was what was the other bands besides Iron Maiden and Nine Inch Nails?
Beck.
Oh, Beck, yeah.
Eddie Money.
I don't think Beck was kind of like Ron said. I don't think he was really into the scene at the time.
No, not.
What it was
not until '94.
What was on the scene, and I'll tell you, was one of my I would say probably one of my favorite albums at that time would be Somewhere in Time, and that was an Iron Maiden album, and I think there was a lot of couple songs on that would have been
That's
just
interesting
ideal.
because the cover of Somewhere in Time is a robot Eddie.
But
I hadn't even thought about that.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Trapped somewhere in time.
All right, James.
I'll go with Iron Maiden too.
That's a good Anna Lyles. Had you said that before I guessed, I think you might have swayed me.
Yeah, I'm probably wrong, but it's cool.
I think it's Nine Inch Nails or Iron Maiden, one of the two.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. Robert Patrick, the T-1000, he's brothers with the lead singer of Filter.
Oh, wow.
That's a Nine Inch Nails tie.
Interesting. Interesting.
I should have said that before. Or no, we've all answered.
Yeah, we've all answered.
Yeah. The dude that started Filter was in Nine Inch Nails at one point, right? I'm pretty sure.
We'll get to that.
Oh, okay.
Question 4, Lyle, get yourself fucking hard. I need you ready, sir, because question 4 is a listener submitted question, so it's going to be worth 2 points. Hit it, Lyle.
2 points.
Can you give us one more real quick with the robot voice? Because we just did talk about robots.
2
Two
points, Mr. Ronald.
Womp womp.
Well, you did answer the question after.
Boing.
Can you do it?
Boing.
Boing, 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 boing.
If I do it like this, it's like here we go. We got 2 points, Mr. Ronald Evans. Look at that. We talk like a robot.
I'm going to need that for Friday when I'm singing Robot Man. Okay, question 5.
Okay. All right, question 4. Thank you to Katie Surgery Jeff for sending this one over to me. And by the way, I might be having Mr. Surgery Jeff on the program here sooner rather than later.
Oh, nice.
Come on and play a little Strange Trip with us too.
I might have.
Okay.
They came into Radar one time.
Yeah. Okay. An alarming new drug trend is popping up in India. Doctors are publicly warning people to stop boiling these and drinking the broth to get them high. What are people boiling and drinking the broth of to get high?
Shark semen.
Is it, Cobra cock.
Cobra Kai.
Got a lot of good feedback on Cobra Kai. There's a semi-local band called Cobra Hawk, and I had to place their listing for Wally's in the last issue of the Comet, and it was like my hand just went to C every time. I knew it should go to H.
That's funny.
What are they boiling? Is it A, used cassette tapes?
Oh, I got tons.
Wow. Okay.
Is it B, flavored condoms?
Ew.
Is it C,
I got questions.
beetle carcasses?
Interesting. Beetle was the first thing to pop in my head. Okay.
Oh. Or is it D, Eddie money? No, is it D, kitty litter?
Eddie Money sauce.
Okay, they're boiling this.
They're boiling this and then straining it and drinking the broth, and it gets them high as fuck, but it's very damaging to their bodies. Again, used cassette tapes, flavored condoms, beetle carcasses, or kitty litter. Ronster, take us home tonight.
Take us home.
Well, Beatles was the first thing that popped in my head, but the rest are so non-organic that I feel like the beetle might be the herring. Cassette tapes is so fucking random. Boiled cassette tapes, boiled cat litter. Fuck. I'm torn between cassette tapes and cat litter.
Tape broth.
How often do you get to say that? I'm going to go, in the interest of time, I'm just going to go cat litter. But I'm really tempted to go with fucking cassette tapes. That's so bizarre.
2 points on the line here.
Is it an Eddie Money cassette tape? Does the music affect the high?
John Mark.
The music matters. Where the music matters.
KXP.
I'm beetle carcasses. I mean, cassette tapes. Like, there could be enough toxic bullshit in like cassettes that if you, I don't know, but Beatles. Yeah, Beatles.
I feel like I should have gone with Beatles, but well, wait a minute. What if the cassette tape?
What about the Beatles?
Was the Beatles? Yeah. Beetle carcasses.
You get 4 points for that.
Lyle.
I am gonna go with the only thing that seems logical a little bit on just, and it's just because of growing up in that time area with cassette tapes. Seems like there was like toxins in them, like what John Mark was saying. I want to say like some of those ink, the way it almost seems like it left like a lead almost inside those pieces.
James, you all right there?
Did you get attacked by a fox?
No, my fucking cat bit me. I'm sorry.
Could be just as deadly.
Well, I think I'm gonna go with the cassette tapes.
Love it. Bold answer.
Boil them up.
What
Bold
did I go
answer.
with? I went with the cat litter. Okay.
All right, James, it all comes down to this.
Is the condoms and the cat litter, are they used?
I was wondering that too about the cat litter, especially.
I did not specify, and I shan't.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the condoms, I guess.
Fucking A. Yeah, everyone picked a different answer there. I kind of love that. And that was worth 2 points. If it's correct, let's see who got that at the end here.
Somebody got that and probably won with it.
Yeah, how many points, Chris?
Let me do it's a double points, Lyle. Can you give me
2
one?
points.
There it is.
Wow, that got weird.
There it is.
That got weird. That's
Rob
a perfect way to
Patrick
describe this
approved.
podcast.
2 points.
Okay, guys, let's go over this real fast and see who took this home. Took it home tonight. Who's got 2 tickets to paradise for this? All right. 2. The one statement I made up about Reese's Pieces, or the one that was true, excuse me, was that they don't actually contain any chocolate at all.
Okay. Good.
All right, yeah.
Good.
Didn't think so.
Ron, John, Mark, and Lyle got that correct, putting them on the board at a point apiece.
Okay. Interesting. That's funny that people would assume that it should. Never thought
Question
about
2. Sharks. I made up 3 statements about sharks, but the one that was true is that sharks as a species are older than the rings around motherfucking Saturn. And I have a little math for this. This is like when you didn't know George Washington didn't know about dinosaurs. Sharks are from an ancient lineage of animals dating back to 359 to 419 million years ago. They predate much of the life we know today. They came before grass, the dinosaurs, the mammals. They came before Saturn's rings formed between 10 and 100 million years ago. Fucking crazy.
God damn it.
I didn't know this either. That's why I love this so much.
Yeah, I bet you love it so much.
But I did. It wasn't that they could smell semen, Lyle. I apologize, sir.
And it wasn't that they can swim backwards. I'm gonna look it up.
My favorite fucking answer.
And if I'm right, maybe you made up a truth. We can't know it until we know it. I'm gonna look them shits up.
John, Mark, and James got that for a point apiece. Putting James at 1 and John Mark at 2.
But what a lot of people don't know is like when you're salmon fishing, that you literally have to like use like WD-40 on your hands after you're done baiting, before you bait your lures.
Clean my hands up every time.
Well, no, it's because they can smell you as a human.
Due to the shape of their fins, sharks cannot swim backwards.
You fucking idiot.
Not even a little. Well, now we know.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Well, hell.
I'm playing like footage from Jaws in reverse.
I found footage. I got proof.
Okay. Terminator 2's actor Robert Patrick infamously played the T-1000, lobbied hard to get Nine Inch Nails onto the soundtrack, and you were exactly right. He was, when I told you that his brother is the guy from Filter, he was playing guitar at the time for Nine Inch Nails.
His brother?
Yeah, it's his brother. And if you fucking look at them, they look alike, too. You can see it. So Ron and John Mark got that correct.
Interesting.
Let's see. So, yeah.
So what's the score now? Because we got a 2-pointer coming.
So John Mark has 2 points. Ron has 2 points. Lyle has 1 point. You have 3? Hold on, let me double check. Let me double check this. So you got question 1 right. That's right, I got you wrong. Okay.
Okay, well, for me, it could come down to this last question.
John Mark has 3 points. Ron has 2 points. Lyle has 1 point. James has 1 point. We're going on to our listener submitted question. We're double points, Lyle. Nice news.
Double points.
Getting a lot of boing activity. boing.
So what's in that pipe, Ron? What you got in there?
Really, really strong Cuban cigar because it's been a good month. Yeah, I smoke cigars in a pipe.
An alarming new drug trend is popping up in India. Doctors are publicly warning people to stop boiling flavored condoms. Getting the broth out. I guess it gets people massively high, but it does awful kidney damage and all sorts of other stuff you're not supposed to be fucking doing. So we have a tie right now. We have a tie between James and John Mark.
Very interesting.
Let me pull up my lovely book of tiebreakers here. I'm going to need you both to pull your phones out.
How do we discover this? And I know, look, going back, how did we discover pot? We smoked everything, right? We had to have smoked everything.
God.
We figured out tobacco's kind of neat, pot's kind of neat, clove. We figured out what you could smoke and what you should never smoke. But that's nature. How did we get to, I'm going to put this particular exceptionally, and it was used. James was onto that. It was used, this exceptionally bad idea, into a concoction and drink it. Was it a dare? How do we get here?
I think it comes down to my standing philosophy that I like to pull out sometimes is that people are dumb as shit.
Yes.
John Mark's pull
and bored.
games.
Apparently real fucking bored. We used to smoke pencils. We thought we were so clever back in the 90s. Like when we ran out of cigarettes, like, we don't know if smoking dandelions doesn't give you a buzz. Let's try it. As you get older, you realize, oh no, there's been a whole lineage of people smoking nature and figuring shit out.
Parsley,
all right.
Real high.
Let's get through this tiebreaker, please, so I get my child to bed.
Sorry.
aka Shut the Fuck Up, Lyle.
Lyle, give us a little shut the fuck up, Lyle, on the old.
Shut the fuck up, Lyle.
Okay.
We've all been rambling.
Here's the tiebreaker. Now you're all allowed to play along. In fact, I'm gonna say the only two people that can't say it out loud are the two competing here, John Mark and James.
Okay.
The rest can guess here. I want single messages to me, either Facebook or text. Han Solo's legendary blaster that was screen used recently sold at auction. They don't see this very often. How much did it sell for?
Wow.
Closest is gonna win. Not Price is Right rules, just whoever's closest.
Been a while.
Yeah, we can weigh in
Well,
once they've sent you theirs, but
Yeah, send
a complete guess. That's a big one, though. That's a big. Now, specified to one particular movie?
New Hope.
New Hope?
Or Star Wars
movie. Oh, that's huge.
Did they only have like one that was used throughout the entire thing?
I don't think so, but these don't come up often. Is what's
they usually have multiples of all that shit.
What would be bigger in terms of like Star Wars props? There's probably something, but what would be bigger?
The lightsabers, like one of Luke's lightsabers.
Lightsabers.
Oh God.
Yeah.
It's probably Princess
like a Darth Vader piece of Darth Vader's costume.
Yeah, his
100%.
helmet or
anything.
Yeah.
Any little button.
The old rubbery Yoda
a glove.
that's like disintegrating.
Oh, absolutely. A Yoda, although he wasn't around for New Hope, was he?
No, that's right. He didn't come
Yoda was not.
Empire,
but
right?
yeah, but the Han Solo gun, that is up there. And we all know that it shot first.
I'm thinking more like Pizza the Hut.
You guys get your answers in? Because I'm going to guess.
Yeah.
From Pizza
Yeah, I got answers.
3 million.
3. Wow. Okay. Shooting for the stars there, big guy.
It's Star Wars. It's Han Solo's gun.
Fair.
I have seen.
Fucking fair.
I would believe it's too high, but I would also believe it's low. It's Star Wars. It's the Star Wars. It's the badassest guy of all the Star Wars films, and it's his weapon. Yeah.
Lyle sent me a text. He said $1 million. John Mark weighed in at. Sorry, I got him over different form. 58 grand, which is kind of interesting because I think it was slated to go for 30 grand, is what they expected.
What? A screen used gun.
Well, yeah, it doesn't work.
Oh, you telling me it doesn't shoot lasers?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you.
I changed my answer.
Oh, fuck. Okay. James says, fuck, I don't know, $1 million? Actual retail price at auction, $1,057,000. James, you beat the boys.
You've done it.
Wow, nice.
Oh man, I don't think we've had a guest on recently since we that have beat you guys in a long.
Been
well,
a
at least
while.
not in a long
Yeah.
time. Yeah. Well done, James. Hall of Shame.
Well played.
James has been listening for a long time. Sharpen them skills.
I would not have guessed $1 million because like I
58,000, John Mark.
Well, dude, I see shit from movies all the time that goes for like.
Didn't you hear? It's not
what?
real.
Really?
Yeah, but
I see shit like that go all the time for stuff that's like what that I would think that would be like 300 grand, but it's like 28,000 or whatever. All the time I see that shit.
Yeah.
So that's why I was kind of going. I went a little bit low, but. Wow, I did not expect $1 million. I was thinking maybe like a couple 100,000, 150,000, but wow,
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, congrats, James. You slayed us.
Thanks,
Doesn't happen very often. And now, I say, we were trying to figure out some new version of the championship round. I don't know what that looks like, but you are in it.
Yes. Awesome.
I think the version we came up with was we eventually get enough of you listeners that participate that win that you all go head to head, and then you get us as a lifeline. You can go to John Mark. You only get us once though, so you can only get John Mark once. Then you got to go to Lyle, and then you got to go to me. That's the order that I know it'll happen. It goes. I think that'll be fun because I think we could all answer different questions differently. But What do you think? I think that's what we do, yeah?
I think it'd be great.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right. Well, I believe James is the first one in the running.
All right.
That championship round.
Into it.
All right. Well, let's get on out of here. Thanks again, James, for joining us. And thanks, everyone, for continuing to listen. In spite of us missing weeks here and there, you get us when we get us. You figured that out by now. And you'll get us next week when we tackle that pesky 9/11 episode that we've been working on for a while. I think that's going to be a barrel of laughs. Tune in and be sure to share the show with all your weirdo buddies that are not afraid to hear about Star Wars trivia, weird, creepy stories, and our balls, because we talk about it all. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other.
Night, guys.
Night,
Thanks
y'all.
for coming on, James.
Bye.
Bye. Take us out, Lyle.
Where are we going?
Wherever you take us.
We're going out. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no.
To the moon.
Perfect. Oh, no, 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 no. All right. Good night, guys.
All right.
Later.
Easy peasy.